Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons from Ritual, and I just wanted to check in with the end of this week. It is June 14th. It is a Friday. We're 1 week out from the summer solstice and 1 week out from the full moon in Cancer. So when we start moving into a new season, this is a good time to, I was reminded by one of my teachers to start thinking about what do we want to move with us going through into the new season, and what is it that we want to leave behind. And so astrologically right now, we do have a lot of what I like to call reality checks happening in the sky. And this has to do with the story of Venus and Mercury in the sun right now, actually. So Venus and Mercury are conjunct one another, and the sun is also conjunct Mercury, right? And Mercury is in its home sign of Gemini. So this is really important, I believe, for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, when a sign is in its home, it feels more comfortable. It knows how to express itself more naturally. And so Mercury in Gemini is this idea of communication, right? Receiving and putting it out there, the twins, head and the heart. So receiving, saying it, right? And so the sun is there warming up this communication, allowing it to express itself. So this is a good time to be asking ourselves, how is it that we want to show up now? How is it that we want to express ourselves? How is it that we want people to receive this information coming from us? And at the same time, Venus is right there, right? And Venus is that divine feminine. She rules the throat because she rules Taurus. Again, that throat chakra opening up. She's right there with the sun, which represents the divine masculine. So that is keeping us in balance. We are in Gemini season, the twins. And then we have Mercury, right, who is all about communication, gathering information, right, the journalist. And then deciding what's the best way to move forward or how to go about something because Gemini does gather all this information. So at the same time, they're all conjunct, but then they are square the moon. They are square. Are they square still square Saturn? They've been squaring Saturn. But right now they're all square Neptune, right? Saturn and Neptune are still in Pisces. And so to me, this is bringing in just reality checks. And the fact too that the sun I mean, the fact that Venus and Mercury are also squaring the moon um, is touching on a couple things. So first and foremost, like these reality checks are coming in. This idea, like maybe you've still been in something, but it can't keep going on the way that it's been going on, and maybe you've known this for a while. But now it's really time to move on. Saturn sitting in Pisces is really bringing us out of the illusion, right? And Neptune in Pisces is still that higher octave of the mystic, right? What is possible, right? A limitlessness. So it's not a battle between the two. It is this idea of how do you get to this limitlessness being stable, right? How do you get to this idea of that higher octave, but being stable doing it? And so, Mercury and Venus, right? These divine powers of communication. And remember, Venus is how we value ourselves, being square. Neptune right now. I think they already squared Saturn, but being square Neptune is saying if we want to get to that higher octave, we need some building blocks, right? Squares can be uncomfortable, but sometimes no one even notices. Sometimes though something was square something, you're just like, didn't even notice. But they can be uncomfortable. But because I see them as squares, it is this idea of, okay, what do we need to do in order to have that building block foundation? At the same time, though, these planets are sextiling Chiron, right? And Chiron, Mercury and the Sun are sextiling Chiron. Um, and so it's lighting up places maybe that we thought were a wound, right? But now we're seeing, oh, I can talk about that. It really is not. I can actually shine in this area where before I would be reading it the wrong way, right? And maybe it's not like the most comfortable place to be in, but at the same time, if it does come up, you're able to talk about it now logically in order to move through it. Um, this Mercury and the sun are, conjunct each other. I'm trying to go over these. Venus, Mercury, and the sun are all squaring Black Lilith, right, as well. And Lilith, as we know, is all about authenticity. She's not going to let anyone put her in her place or tell her how to be, right? So the fact that they're squaring Lilith in Neptune allow this to come in. If you are feeling uncomfortable in situations in your life because you don't know, right? Again, that's also squaring that moon. The moon can represent fears in the tarot, right? Because it is at nighttime. But the fear needs to come in because when the fear comes in, it should help us make a plan on how to move forward, right? Instead of saying trapped in the fear, we've got to move through the fear. So, what are some ways we can move through this fear? This time right now would be a really good time if we needed some extra support to reach out to other people. This would be a really good time because the sun is highlighting Gemini, right, and Mercury, to ask for help, right, to ask for medication if we need medication, ask for different ways so we can move things that might be causing us fear and or anxiety. So remember, Gemini is information. Gemini is the twins. We can get distracted on the lower end. We can get distracted easily, or we might not know which way to go, right? But Gemini in its higher octave is gaining that information in order to get us out of duality, right? Gemini in that higher octave is that unity consciousness to be like, oh, wait, we do have options. I don't have to be stuck in this fear. Let me write down what my fears are. Okay, well, now that I look at these, who can I call to help me move through this in order to be the best expression of myself, right? To be the person that I always know, my authentic self, right? Venus being speaking with love, speaking with compassion, hearing with love, hearing with compassion, right? As we move into this new summer season, right? Move through that gate, if we will. So this last week of Gemini season is really big. There's a lot of energies and they're moving fast. Gemini is moving fast. Excuse me, Mercury's moving fast through Gemini. I think he's only been in Gemini for like 2 weeks, and sometimes, when Mercury goes retrograde, it can stay a while, but he is motoring through his home sign to get into Cancer. He can't wait to get into Cancer. Venus will go into Cancer and then he will go into Cancer. So still a lot of good communication moving into this new season of summer. If you're feeling overwhelmed though, if you're feeling anxiety, this is the time. Take those deep breaths, get grounded. Just take a minute, write out what you think is bothering you, write out where you feel that fear, right? And then see what can we do to help move forward through this. So let's do a card real fast since I got tarot deck right here. So we'll do a card. Let's do one for the weekend. This way. This is my big deck. One card for the unity consciousness, please. Two of Swords, friends. Two of Swords. So we're in this first quarter moon. Two of Swords. Get grounded, be calm, and remember, we've got to make decisions when our mind and our hearts are together, right? You can see they're active. It's not what we perceive through our eyes. That's why she's blindfolded, but it's what we perceive through our hearts, right? And where we want to go, right? Swords is mental energy. When she's in that state of Zen, her mind is open, her heart is open. That's why the water behind her is moving, but not quickly. It's just moving. It's moving forward, or let's say rustling, if you will, because it's important. She's got her yellow shoes on, right? That's the sun. She's being grounded in her solar plexus. She's being grounded in confidence, right? She knows if there's fears or if there's stories that she's got to get through, we have to get through, we have to get grounded. You can see here's her being very stable. She's sitting on this stone bench. That is our sweet, sweet Saturn, keeping us stable when we're working with all this water, right? Pisces, Neptune, Saturn, and there's the moon. The moon's the crescent shape right now. We're in the first quarter moon, so actually it's about 50% full. But everything is in balance. Everything is being grounded. It is taking that middle road in order to get to where we need to be. Okay, so if things are feeling a little overwhelming or yeah, it's time to move on. Five of Cups at the bottom. Five of Cups. You guys, all the relationships, all the whatevers, they're not coming back. We have mourned them, we've mourned them beautifully. It's time to move forward. It's time to grab these two cups and move forward. Okay. And if there's a lot of anxiety, like you know, you want these two cups so badly and you just don't know what to do, you feel frozen in fear, reach out to someone. There's beautiful professionals everywhere and all types of sciences and doctors and whatevers, right? People have specialties in lots of things, right? Reach out to them. We can't stay in this Five of Cups energy any longer, especially moving into the summer season. It is what it is, and it was what it was. Let's move forward. Okay, let's move forward with love. Let's move forward with confidence. Let's move forward with our voices now back because we do know what we want. We do know how we want to feel empowered, and that's okay, right? We're Gemini revved up by the sun right now. Venus is right there holding hands with them. All three of them are holding hands and they're in intense conversations, squaring the moon, squaring Neptune, right? Because we want to get out of codependency. We want to get out of these lower vibrations. We want to get out of these illusions and move forward the way we know we can and we will, and be open to all the beautiful things that the universe has to offer to us. Okay, friends, I'm going to leave it there. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'll be back next week. We got a lot going on. We're going into Cancer season. We've got the summer solstice and we got the full moon. So good job, everybody. Keep up the good work. Again, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed in the mental realms, detox from the social media for sure. But reach out to others as well as do your grounding and breathing exercises. Okay, guys.